In this video, guys, I would like to explain to you with tangible examples how you will actually start to think in English while you're practicing with the scripts of Friends and with the script of TV shows. So basically, I will share my story of how I started thinking in English and how I started speaking English without thinking. Throughout my whole learning English process, from the very first day to this day, this is how I learned English in order. I learned English with the scripts of sitcoms, TV shows, with the scripts of YouTube videos, and then with the scripts of vloggers, and finally with the scripts of podcasts. The first rule of thinking in English and speaking English fluently is to learn the words in the right way. What I mean by learn the words in the right way, you need to learn words in a way that learning process allows you to think in English.
I take the dead flowers out of the vase.
I take the dead flowers out of the vase. I take the dead flowers out of the vase. When it comes to thinking in English, there are two important factors. The first thing is network, and the second thing is association. Okay, first of all, I would like to start with association. What is association? Association is when you see an object in real life, you are able to directly remember the name of the object in English, not in your first language. Normally, as a language learner, we tend to remember the name of the objects in our first language first. And then we try to remember the name of the objects in English by translating it from our first language to English. Association helps you to remember the name of the objects in English, not in your first language. For instance, do you see this, guys? When I see this, I directly remember Rachel. I took the flowers out of the vase, flowers.
I take the dead flowers out of the vase.
Hanger. From the first episode, I remember that there was a sexual indication. You look like you slept with a hanger in your mouth. Hanger.
I can't stop smiling. I can see that. You look like you slept with a hanger in your mouth.
Towel. Drop the towel, baby. Drop the towel, baby. Drop the towel, baby. Monica, Phoebe, Rachel. Drop the towel, baby.
He's so cute. Oh, George, baby, drop the towel. Yeah, come on, drop the towel. You can do it. Drop the towel. Drop it.
Wow. Pillow. She already fluffed it pillow. Monica, you know what? You already fluffed it pillow. But it's fine.
She already fluffed that pillow. Monica, you know, you already fluffed, but it's fine.
Toothbrush and toothpaste. I remember this scene from House of Cards.
Is that my toothbrush?
I don't know, is it?
Yes, it is.
You left it here.
Peter, gross.
Oh, come on. We've exchanged plenty of fluids by now.
Oh, no. No, toothpaste.
It's not toothpaste. I'm rabid.
Bulb. Peter, where do you keep the bulbs? In the kitchen under the sink. Bulb.
Hey, Peter?
Yeah?
Where do you keep the light bulb? The lamp in the bedroom is out.
In the kitchen under the sink. Here's what I think.
Plug it in. I'm plugging in.
Plugging in. Saving game.
For instance, keys. The minute I hold those keys, I can directly remember the scene where Monica, Chandler, Joey, Phoebe, they all locked themselves out of the apartment. They're standing in their apartment, outside of their apartment.
Why are we standing here? You've got the keys. No, I don't.
Keys. You said you got the key. No, I didn't. I said, got the key? And Chandler says, either of you have the keys?
Yes, you do. When we left, you said, got the keys.
No, I didn't. I asked. Got the keys?
No. You said, got the keys.
Either of you have the keys?
I speak with a very low voice right now. I speak with a very low volume right now because I'm afraid that someone's gonna come down and say that, what is this lunatic doing in here? So another example here. For instance, curtains. Again, House of Cards. Put up the curtains.
If I have a report who won't listen.
Two freshman girls are moving into their dorm room together. One of them's from Georgia, one of them's from Connecticut. Girl from Connecticut's helping her mother put up curtains.
Put up the curtains. And for instance, couch. Are you gonna crash on the couch?
You wanna crash on the couch?
No, I gotta go home sometime.
Remote. Ross, your creature got the remote again. Television. I already seen this one. This is a, I've already seen this one. Also, this is the episode where there is some kind of misunderstanding, and Phoebe says, "I've already seen this one."
I think this is the episode of Three's Company where there's some kind of misunderstanding.
Then I've already seen this one.
So my point is, for instance, ornament, the crown. I can directly remember this expression, this word actually, from the crown.
An ornament. A flower.
So carpet. Again, get the smell out of the carpet. Macedon carpets. From France.
He's out banging other women over the head with a club while she sits at home trying to get the mastodon smell out of the carpet.
When I see a towel, when I see whatever I see in my life, for instance, bookcase, right? I talk about this. Chandler, down with the bookcase. When I see, or Joey says that.
What's this?
I have no idea.
Done with the bookcase.
So basically, this is how I started actually thinking in English. And this process led me to a point where I started speaking English. Because I literally created this second brain, this English world in my brain. What is network? Now, network is, by my definition, network is your ability to remember the words and the scene from the script. For instance, you learn English with friends, with the script of friends, automatically, without thinking about it. Let me explain to you guys what I mean by that. For instance, through, okay? Through. When someone tells me through, there are so many scenes, there are so many examples, there are so many scenes from my old studies directly come to my mind, snap in my head. For instance, through. I can directly remember this through. From the second episode of Friends, I read through with that. I directly remember the line. I read through with that. And I remember the story, and I remember the situation.
Are you through with that?
Yeah, sorry, the swallowing slowed me down.
Because Monica is cleaning the house, cleaning her apartment, and then Joey is drinking a glass of water, and Monica is acting very, rapidly. Monica is acting in a very chaotic way and says, "Are you through with that?" And she directly grabs the glass of water off of Joey's hand. One simple word, through, can remind me a whole bunch of stories, different stories. Or for instance, another example is through, again. Ross is in the hospital and says that the moonlight comes through the window. The moonlight comes through the window. And Chandler says, can I get some painkillers over here? So another example, for instance.
Remember the moonlight coming in through the open window, and her face had the most incredible glow.
The glow, the magical feeling. You did this part. Could I get some painkillers over here, please?
I can make connections between words and stories. How does that help you to think in English? The way it helps you is you start to build this network between words and stories. Once a word comes to your mind, you're automatically able to remember a story. And those stories are in English, not in your first language. So basically, there is no room for thinking in your first language because you automatically connect one simple word with a story. And obviously, those stories are all in English. By building this relationship, this web between words and stories, you start to thinking in English because the thing that comes to your mind is automatically in English. So that over time helps you to completely thinking in English. I always tell you this, the way you learn words will determine whether you will speak English fluently or not. And the way you learn words will determine whether you will think in English or not. I am able to remember many things because I immerse myself and I lose myself in the story while I'm practicing with the scripts. That makes a huge difference, guys. This process helps me to completely thinking in English, because you kind of like create this second brain. You kind of create this another world completely in English. You have your own world that is completely in English.